Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the second night of ECL Season 47 in North America. I'm Pineapple Phillips, joined by Laz, who's coming hot off from one of the South American matches, straight back into the fryer. Welcome in. How are you doing this evening?
Doing good, man. I think I fried my throat a little bit, but yeah, it's good to be here. We're in South America, but now we're in NA, so you and I get to be together again, which is fun. And yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking about this match, but this match will be something here, Nate.
It will definitely be something. It's a match that we can't really glean too much from. You said we are back once again on this stream, and of course, another team is also returning in Fluffy AIMERS. Our matchup for this evening is Fluffy AIMERS versus Mythic, a team that impressed us yesterday, I would say, made us cautiously optimistic about their future. They're looking incredibly good, far better than I would have anticipated, whereas Mythic haven't really done too much as of yet. Not really that many maps played in the last couple months makes them more of a dark horse, but anything's to be certain of, it's the fact that they are a stream team and they're going to bring their usual antics.
Yeah, totally. I mean, this is the thing for anybody that's not aware. So we got to capture yesterday on the stream as well. We got to see Fluffy AIMERS playing the 2 best of 1s, which was against Carpe Diem. They did split that, which did the 1 best of 1 went to Carpe Diem, and then they were able to find themselves a win as well. So pretty interesting matchup, and we definitely didn't have them as favorites in that series, but they definitely made both games quite competitive. Even their first one, it was a pretty decent win, and then even the loss they took, it was actually quite close. But I think this is going to be a unique one too, because like you said, Mythic, kind of that stream team, a bunch of veteran players, all very skilled in their own way. But I mean, they haven't really had the best results, and I know it's been very up and down. And I think that's the piece here is that, I mean, Mythic, interestingly enough to me, they actually had that 1 win versus Timberman, which I don't think I was actually expecting at all. I thought that was kind of random in my opinion, but I mean, maybe that's the upward trend we're going with these guys.
Yeah, maybe Mythic can indeed pull off some higher antics than you would expect. I also do want to mention, I believe we do have the it's called the records for all the teams thus far in the season. It's only been 1 evening of games, but you did mention they split their score yesterday, Fluffy AIMERS and Carpe Diem. Go to the group screen, and you'll notice not only did that game get split in 2 best of 1s, but every single game yesterday got split 1-1. Both teams winning 1 map. Therefore, we have, I guess, in the early goings, 6 teams tied for first, if you want to say it, tied, quote unquote, in the very beginnings of this season. Fluffy AIMERS and Mythic, if they split maps again, they could end up at a 2-2 record. But again, I want to see how the scoreline overall in terms of groups expands as the season goes. I want to see exactly how things shake up and how they're different given this 2 best of 1 format.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good point you made, right? I mean, because I think what we were able to capture a little bit yesterday, and for people that weren't around, weren't hanging out, watching us, whatever, but we'll take that for what it is. But I was going to say, the fact that it isn't best of 3s anymore. This is, the format of best of 1s, which obviously changes a lot of things. And like I talked about in the South American area, it was saying well, look, everybody has their own opinions about best of 1s versus best of 3s. But I think this kind of adds that extra level of spice here, because it's you only get 1 map. You have to, it's do or die. So it's essentially it just adds way more complexity to this whole situation. So I think that's where we saw Mythic, go 1-1 against Timberman, which I thought in a best of 3 probably maybe wouldn't be the same case. But the fact it is 2 separate BO1s does open up a lot of avenue here for upsets.
It doesn't. Not only was it a 1-1 with Overpass being a map that they took a victory on, but Vertigo as well was a very close loss, which is very surprising given their rather dismal record on it. 0-5 in the last 3 months, yet they still made it go to overtime in spite of losing. not bucking the trend, but still showing us they're capable of a lot. So I think maybe this best of one format can definitely favor a team like Mythic that maybe doesn't have the same depth or the same strat book as compared to most traditional teams. Fluffy Aimers, though, circling back to them, I want to see more of those three players. I want to see more of Intro. I want to see more of Sacrifice, more Pendulum. I want to see these individuals really shine like they did yesterday.
Yeah, and I guess, I think the one thing we probably can talk about, because, we both like to, make predictions. We like to, think who could win this. I'll ask you first before I go on my tangent. Who do you think can take this best of one here right now?
This first best of one? Mm-hmm. Or both? Okay, first best of one. I'm going to say we haven't really told the viewers the map, so you have to take that with a grain of salt. But I do think Fluffy Aimers do have it in them. Again, they've played the map quite a bit. And in addition to that, they've played a lot more maps than Mythic in general over the last couple of months. So I have to give them the edge. I think across the whole set of best of ones, I give Fluffy Aimers the edge. But I do think Mythic are a team that's prone to upsetting.
Well, yeah, and I was going to say my predictions right there below. So I was going to go the opposite of you. Like I'm still pretty optimistic, like you said, about Fluffy Aimers. I think yesterday they got to show us a lot of good characteristics of what they can do, and actually looks really impressive. I was not too sure just based on kind of their stats, and I was like, well, I don't know if that's going to be the full effect here, but I think they are going on the right trend. I am kind of wondering if Mythic can do something here because, like I said, going 1-on-1 against Timberman, it, to me, was a pretty interesting result. And like you said, even that other map was close. It went into overtime, so it's not even like it was a dominating loss or anything like that. Like, they made it very close, and it came down to critical little mistakes that I think is interesting. And the roster is just, there is a lot of talented individuals, so that's the other thing. But we talked about predictions, we talked about who we think can win, but let's talk a little bit more about the maps here, Nate, because I think that also could be an interesting little note here for this best of one.
Yeah, for the first best of one, we have the vetoes are on the bottom of the screen now. Starting off with Mythic as the banning team. It goes ban, and then 2 bans, and then 2 bans, and then 1 ban. So the second team to ban does still get to decide the map in the end. Mirage taken out by Mythic, Anubis and Overpass taken out by Fluffy Aimers, Inferno and Vertigo to follow. And the final map being banned being Nuke. That leaves us on Ancient, is a map that I said is played quite a bit by Fluffy Aimers, 8 times in the last 3 months, whereas it's only been played once back in November by Mythic. That can give them that dark horse advantage. It could hurt them. We'll have to see exactly how it plays out on that map. But given this is the first Battlefield last, do you still feel confident that Mythic can take this first one?
I think so. I mean, I know that Fluffy Aimers does have more like officials under this, and they've been able to play more, but the last 4 times they played this, it's all been losses. I mean, like, granted, they played a team called Regain, which that was a 16-14 loss, but a lot of their other ones were pretty big gaps. Like, we're talking a 13-3 loss, a 13-1 loss, and then they lost to a team named Cloud 10, which was a 13-11. So like I said, I mean, they do have more reps, but to me, it doesn't really show that they're that strong on it. And I think Mythic, they do have that individual prowess of them. They all have really good experience. So when they're on, they're on. So I do think they can create some havoc here. But do I think it's going to be a bar burner? I do.
Yeah, I think if there's one certain, this game should be a great one that goes the distance, hopefully. And Mythic were warming up prior to this. I went and checked one of their 5 streams. They were indeed doing a pair of scrims, so they should be coming into this one hot and ready. And I think you mentioned they had a lot of officials, but I think for both teams, we can safely say that the officials are kind of out the window at this point. It's been so long. There haven't been roster changes for Mythic, but there have been for Fluffy Aimers, as we touched on yesterday. And of course, those maps played were quite a while ago, quite a while in the past. So things could have changed in the strat book at a fundamental level. They've had plenty of time to do so. And I think the only thing you can really put stake in is the fact that Fluffy Aimers and Mythic both surprised their respective opponents yesterday, giving a 1-1 mixed scoreline on those 2 best of ones. Mythic, as you mentioned, versus Timberman, taking Overpass, and Fluffy Aimers taking Vertigo versus Carpe Diem.
Yeah, and that's, I think, they're going to be the interesting piece for this. And I mean, I think the thing is as well, like, we got to see some really good effect coming in from Sacrifice yesterday. Like, he was one of those players. I think he actually got one of the MVPs, if I'm not mistaken, from yesterday's game, as well as surprisingly, Intra and Learcy were those 2 other close quarter guys that were able to put up some pretty big numbers and impactful rounds. And Learcy especially, because I think you and I were both saying, like, on paper, he's not the most high performer. He does his role, he does when he needs to, but he's not one of those like star fraggers. He's not the guy that does all this impact, the impact and the ratings, but he was doing God's work yesterday. He was getting clutches. He was, putting up some big rounds, and that was really exciting to see. And that's where you kind of made that comment about the stats don't necessarily paint the picture. And I definitely agree with you, because the history of the maps, they were quite some time ago, but this is just information that we had from a little while ago. So I think that's why it's a unique matchup, because it's going to be a fresh start.
Yeah, I do want to mention as well, Learsy waking up yesterday. I want to know, is that a constant that we can see going forward for Fluffy Aimers? Was it a flash in the pan? There's a lot of questions for me individually on the side of Fluffy Aimers. But ladies and gentlemen, after saying that, we are going to take a bit of a break. When we return, we will have that first map, that first best of one in Ancient. Stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.
Bye-bye.
muted apparently. Hello? Okay, we're good.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Somebody was saying in my ear you're muted. I was like, oh no, I ruined my Valentine's Day. But that's okay. We're back. We're ready to go. We're almost there. We're just waiting for the server to be done. A couple more minutes, so you get to look at our gorgeous faces here for a few more minutes. But Pineapple, we talked a lot about this matchup with Mythic and Fluffy AIMERS. I do want to know your prediction though, because I know we talked about what you think will win. Do you have a scoreline though? Do you have an inkling? Do you have a
you want a specific scoreline now? We already had the whole graphic, we already had the whole rigmarole, but you want the scoreline. Again, the map's ancient. It's a map that both teams have played. You know, Fluffy AIMERS far more so in terms of the last 3 months, but that doesn't really matter. We're getting directly into the action, but I'm gonna say Fluffy AIMERS, because it relies a lot on the side start, I'm gonna go 13-8. We're gonna go 13-8.
Ooh, okay. Mythic 13-9.
13-9. That's shockingly close to what I said. Aggression though, straight down middle, no ifs, ands, or buts. Truck races forward like a truck, falls back before he falls. It's straight towards cave. Freakazoid trying to get a kill. Neither team though succeeding in either endeavor. Sacrifice and Truck Lover trade blow for blow. Jason breaks it back, bringing a favor into the Fluffy AIMERS. Freakazoid trying to answer back, trying to catch Pendulum as he swings away, and he does so successfully. Back to even footing. The issue though is that Fluffy AIMERS have taken control of the site. Mythic still stand a good chance of this retake. They have a kit on hand, and Hate brings the pain to Intra, catches them while flying through the sky. The last two are both in towards Donut. And Hate has the kit perfectly ready for this retake. Goes for the defuse. He's actually caught immediately. No, it's Cooper who's caught instead. Freakazoid drops Learcy, and Jason, while he did find the trade, could not stop the defuse. Jason does get the final kill, capping off the round with a 4K, but it's a hollow victory. Mythic steal away the pistol round by Ninja.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering about the ninjas too, right? Because I mean, we've had so many updates coming through with the smokes and everything like that, but yeah, still going to be a ninja effect here. Mythic, they do squeak that one through, and that was a really nice execute on the retake. I mean, they did a pretty good job. They looked pretty cool, calm, and collected. It wasn't that catastrophic, like, you know, we talked about before. They seem like they can be a little bit all over the place at moments, but looked okay for this one. Fluffy AIMERS just barely losing it, but with the bomb plant, they are going to commit to these guns. They're going to have the Galils with the 1 AK. Well, that AK is gone, but now the MAC-10 is still here. Maybe going to be picked up for the AK now. But they are having problems to get out of elbow right now. And Freakazoid, oh man, this is classic Freakazoid. He's just swinging, and he's fragging out.
Fearless. Good flash from Hate as well. Catches Intra. Takes him out of the round. No control at middle for Fluffy AIMERS. They were rebuked at both ends, towards Snake and towards middle. Good smokes, good utility, and good firepower from Mythic. Freakazoid off to a hot start at 4 kills. Sacrifice and Pendulum. 2 players on not opposite sides of the map, but very far apart. No bomb in their control. Sure, they have rifles, but doesn't seem like they'll be able to find much, especially not with Truck Lover lurking around on A. The last alive is Pendulum, all the way in his own spawn with less than a minute left. He'll get the bomb, but with 5 waiting and ready, I don't think he's going to find much of anything. Freakazoid should have him dead to rights depending on the timing, and that will be a solid upgrade for the Galil wielder.
Yeah, I'm really liking that we're even for Mythic. Again, like a bit of a small factor, but I think it pays off massive impact is the fact that, you know, the B door is being smoked off quite continuously. That is a big thing to note because it just makes it more problematic. You're essentially isolating that part of the map. They don't have any more smokes now, but they've done such a great job. And like you said, the time is running out pretty low. 15 seconds remain. He's actually still going for this contention. Cooper's going to be able to swing. Good trade here from the brothers. And there we go. Only 1 casualty for that round, Nate. And I really like that. I mean, considering that was a full purchase coming in from Fluffy AIMERS and the fact they only took 1 death of Cooper, man, that's going to be a nice cherry on top.
Very acceptable losses, all things considered. They prevented the bomb plant. They showed us some very convincing control early on as a CT side, using the SMGs to their strengths, flashing for one another. It's the loose yet coherent Counter-Strike you would expect to see from a team like Mythic. Pug-esque, yet still with a higher degree of fidelity.
Oh, and they already pushed up on Catwalk too, right? Like, look at this. They're just still fighting. They're being very aggressive on the CT side. I like this because the middle is so important, obviously, because you're going to cut this thing right down the middle, and then they're just going to make it more problematic for Fluffy AIMERS. And like I said, there's that B door smoke once again. Now you can just see they're just kind of sitting, waiting, wishing. Nothing coming through. Flum starts things off with the first duel. Yeah, Fluffy AIMERS, they're going to have to rethink their game plan. You can already see they've just retreated this. Nothing.
There's some stuff that could be gleaned from this, though, for Fluffy Aimers. Namely, the heavy mid control has been oppressive on every round except for the pistol. That's been translated into snake control with a smoke towards B doors. You just wait a little while longer and force them to use their smokes without showing much presence, and I think their utility will be strained, and from there you can kind of go for your play. Fluffy Aimers hoping they can learn that from these early rounds, and from there adjust accordingly.
Yeah, they are biding some time, which is kind of nice here too. So, I mean, they are just waiting things out. Like you said, Jason going to be kind of the sacrificial lamb. He just gets slaughtered here. So Freakazoid able to find that one. Now they're going to group up in towards middle. Utility is lackluster. I mean, 2 flashes remaining here for Freakazoid and Truck. And now we can see Fluffy Aimers are just going to walk into Donut. Are they going to expect the shadows there? That's going to be a big gimme. 2 frags just like that. Quickly done, but Cooper able to scoop up another double. Bombs coming in. Flom gets his sights on this, and there we go. A little bit more scrappy of a third round, but they get the job done.
Keeping 3 up's that critical number helps you build your economy, albeit slowly on the CT side. Again, preventing the bomb plant, which will hamstring the economy. You can see Pendulum on just that Galil without head armor, might I add. Very well done from Mythic in the early goings. I want to see if this trend continues. I want to see if they keep pressing for that middle and snake control, or if they show us a different look on this defensive side.
Well. We got ourselves an op here, Nate. Mr. Cooper.
Very early for an op.
I'm kind of curious what he's going to be able to find. Decent nade. Freak does get an easy one. Pendulum, though, can he be able to find this trade? I don't know. I like that Freak's not just being over aggressive now. He's actually just going to fall back here. This is good work coming in from him. Oh my goodness. A bat out of a cave. They just come through the smoke. Doesn't work out. Freak does find himself a double kill now in this round. And man, Fluffy Aimers, they're not looking as clean on these hits so far, Nate.
No, they aren't. They're struggling to even get into a position to get a hit in. They're getting stuck on the press in. Map control is too oppressive from Mythic. Good trade from Freakazoid. 2 left. Jason and Sacrifice. They do have an opportunity. They're looking up indoors, but Cooper misses a shot. That is something you cannot miss. Flom has a flank, sure, but a 2 versus 2 now makes the round rather scary. Flom doesn't want to over-aggress, knows that Jason likely is going to double back and look for this. He's instead just going to group up with his teammate. Right call. He has donut control. He's not going to group up. Freakazoid's going to go for the long flank gambit. This could work out. It could pay off. It could not. Timing's everything for Flom. He's in donut. They know it's a possibility. In fact, they know it's a probability at this stage, given the fact that house was clear. And there's the spam. Sacrifice will get the bomb to dirt. He'll get tagged down to 15. He's still in it. Freakazoid totally unexpected, however. Finds the headshot. The second one not quite spotted yet, but Jason, can he hold off? The bomb is planted. Flom, though, has a kit, and there's still a lot of time on the clock. Jason, at this point, his position known. He's going to have to take the best he can. Swats the head of one, sprays him down, tries to reload, but there's no respite to be found in the corner. Flom gets the trade, gets the defuse. The closest round yet to Fluffy Aimers. Some good adjustments pressing in towards middle. The close isn't close enough. Still a round on the board for Mythic, and they do get the up to bring into the next round as well.
Yeah, that's a really good round too, because again, like what we were talking about, there was only 12 bullets in the chamber for Fluffy Aimers, and that was a tough situation because even getting that duel onto Freak, that was it, right? It took every single bullet to get him done and get him down, and then Flom was able to kind of do the shake and bake, little bait and switch, and he was able to find that pretty much an easy given kill. And, I mean, it is a 4-0. Freak is doing a great job right now. I mean, obviously, he's sitting at 10 kills, but the amount of impact he's been able to find with just finding these opening duels, man, it is just creating so much havoc right now for Fluffy Aimers. That nade, 49 damage, just crushing down Leersey. He hasn't been able to find anybody at all. They're just scraping themselves through here in mid. Lots of bumps and bruises, and now Mythic already blocking off Cave. They're doing a great job just isolating it. I think Cooper's getting a little bit overwhelmed here into Red Room, but again, the utility's looking really nice for Mythic. Oh, Flom, you got to get that smoke in there, buddy. That's not good. Down to 32, and look at Fluffy. They're just posted up in mid.
Finally found a way to get mid control. Finally found their opening the cross and caves without Freakazoid picking them off. The issue is Mythic trade that control for a press down B ramp. Cooper, another uncharacteristic miss. His op is not hitting tonight, and that could be concerning if Mythic have to rely on him in later rounds. Freakazoid, though, as it stands, Mr. Juggernaut pushing in, cannot be unseated. Even in a fight where he is not favored, he gets the kill onto Lears. He finishes what he started with the grenade. And Fluffy AIMERS, they have taken control of A through mid, but again, this double up towards Donut could find them rather quickly. Intra trying to probe inwards is caught. Good start for Mythic, an advantage secured going into the retake.
Yeah, and they're already, for Fluffy AIMERS, they do know that there's some, at least a player in Donut right now. So they have to worry about that. Really nice shot from Jason Flom. Just again, overextends his welcome, so he gets a full face of lead here. So now the CTs, they got to get moving. They have the kits, but they don't have any utility. And there we go. Fluffy AIMERS, a little bit more locked on for this round. And somehow, some way, they bring it back. And they finally remove the big old 0, and they got themselves at least 1.
Things are still really awkward, though, in their takes. They're very slow.
Yeah.
They're not clean executes. They're careful negotiations. This one finally pays off. But there's an elephant in the server, and that is Freakazoid. His control towards caves, towards Jaguar, has been suffocating, and he is yet to be punished there. Even when he's smoked off, even when he's not taking direct fights, he's still a tremendous thorn in their side. He makes room for Hate to lurk out for a flank. He throws a nade and catches somebody on the cross. No matter what they do, if Fluffy AIMERS head in that direction, he is going to harry them. They have to find a direct answer, a way to punish him, or it's going to continue to happen, and it will just continue to tip the scales in the favor of this defense.
And this is the thing that gets really frustrating too, and I think this is what the community obviously has been voicing, is like, we see this position where Mythic have been 4-0, and look at their money situation, already down to the low 2000s. Flom obviously sitting nice with 49, like you talked about, but I mean, this is the thing. So what are they going to do with this? I mean, they don't have a lot of money they want to put into this. They want to preserve the cash as much as possible. So on paper, giving Fluffy AIMERS a good opportunity to find maybe a second, unless we see somebody pop off with the pistol. We do see it is going to be a P250 invested from Freakazoid. Some utility here coming in from Hate. And they've actually gone for a 5-man stack towards this B site. So they've left A vacated. The papers are on the table. So if Fluffy AIMERS want it, they can sign it. And they can have it for free.
I didn't realize that this smoke towards Jaguar is a T-smoke. They're investing one of their 5 pieces of smoke utility just to prevent Freakazoid from running rampant in the early round. To tell you how much they're prioritizing is control right now. Good flashes in. Learsy still finds the opening. Sacrifice a second. Slaying from Freakazoid is good for one, almost a second, but he just doesn't have enough rounds in the mag. It is a cleanup for the most part from Fluffy AIMERS, barring that one casualty in Learsy. You mentioned it was pistols. There was no money. That's kind of what was expected, but Freakazoid, a second kill, could have definitely helped in hampering that T-side economy.
Yeah, I think even one more bullet in the chamber, he would have had that kill on the Intra too. And I mean, it wouldn't have, changed the round for them to win it, but at least it just, drains the economy here for Fluffy AIMERS, because you can see that, Pendulum and Ultra Intra are sitting at that, 4,000 or 4,100 and that 32. So definitely makes things a little bit more interesting in the economy game, just becomes the big question mark. Good nade to pop open the smoke here for the Opper. Nothing to find though. Freak now going to be back in the cave. Got the MP9. Man, Nate, he's just single-handedly, he has more kills than his team combined. Like, it's just nuts. He's been able to do some big work so far in 7 rounds alone.
He has. Cooper has been heavily invested into in this early to mid first half on the op, and it makes sense. He's a pretty solid opper for the most part, but he's been missing several, not even easy shots, give me shots is what I'm going to call them. They're shots that should be connecting 11 times out of 10, and they are missing. So I'm concerned. They're really prioritizing this over utility and over a rifle for Freakazoid, for example. If he can't get the ball rolling quickly, then they might need to reassess their priorities as a defense.
Oh, that's a nice shot.
Oh, okay, never mind. Maybe he needed that as a wake-up call. He finds 2. He loses the duel, but he's done his job. He bought time, a lot of it. The question is, can Truck and Flom get across the line? This shot from Pendulum.
What?
Truck Lever exploits it. Pendulum and a chance for a chamber, and now an AK in hand. Flom can't connect the shots. It's Pendulum to clutch it up in a 1v2. And Cooper, it felt like he finally hit his stride, and yet it was not enough to get his team back into that round.
Oh, man, it would have been so nice to see Cooper just, pull back a little bit on that, because it looked like he tried to re-aggress again, right? I mean, he was feeling it. He got 2 really nice shots, but yeah, like you said, finally a little bit of a wake-up call. A really unfortunate situation for Flom too. I mean, the fact that he had the right positioning, but his shoulder was exposed. And then, you know, Fluffy Aimers were able to find that timing with like a mill of a second of a difference. So now we're going to see the Aimers. They're going to just do a 4-1 split. They're going to rush into the safe site. Look at it. It's a free site. Mythic. They gamble it for a mid-split. Doesn't work out. Freak's going to get taken out in the cave. Learcy doing some good work, and he actually does get removed with a 1 and done here. Truck, he's got the Deeg, and man, he can be so lethal with it, but not an easy position to find duels. And look at this, Nate. Fluffy Aimers, they're actually going for a hunt. They've kind of like vacated the site, essentially, and they're just looking for some extra money.
Trying to just get that AK. Flom picks it up. Knows his flank's coming through, but the MAC-10 headshot's a one-shot when you have no helmet. Truck looking for an exit on the Deagle. Cooper, similar situation on the MP9. Neither has Kevlar, so they can't save that. And the Op, a Pendulum, will behead Truck Lover 86. Cooper, the last. Might try to grab that AK at the very least, but even that seems like out of his reach. 4 HP. He might find one by shocking surprise. Nope, sacrifice is ready. That's the kill. The AK also recovered. I believe Jason dropped the MAC-10. And so, the best round that could be asked for Fluffy Aimers, and a very big change of pace as well. A show of confidence from this T side.
Yeah, and that was the thing we were kind of mentioning before, and I definitely agreed with you, because it looked like Fluffy Aimers it almost felt like they were overthinking it and kind of like taking things really slow and not kind of the convincing way we saw them yesterday. Now we're starting to see that a little bit more diligence. They're making decisions, not as much hesitation, and there we go again. They're just going to go right back for this A hit. Smokes are flying from the sky. Truck needs to get out of here. He was in the boost position, but he realizes this is not worth it. So him and Flom are close together in Donut, but it's a matter of if they can get this timing right. They're going to be smoked off, but beautiful from Flom. That smoke is popped open. He finds himself at least one, but Cooper can't get the op to connect again. So this could be a save just like that. They're losing positioning so quickly. Unless Hate can be able to find an opener like this thing is just so scrappy. It makes no sense. All these players are just sitting in the back of A main waiting things out. The double boost is here. Oh my goodness. And Pendulum just waiting things with the op. Nate, this is insane. And how do they do it?
Chaos, they find it through the smoke. Freakazoid swings and finds yet another. Somehow they make the round work in spite of that early loss in the op duel towards back temple. They still get across the line, largely thanks to the heroics of Freak. He found the first, he spammed, or not the first, but the second through the smoke entirely, and the third as a trade. Very big double from him. Right now it feels like Freakazoid and Jason are going blow for blow in the server. 15 for Freakazoid and 13 for Jason, both trying to claw their way to an advantage in this first half.
I don't even know how they got away with that. That was insane. I mean, I think it was Hate. I mean, the fact that he was able to find that one kill from CT, he kind of opened things up a little bit, and then they felt better to go in there. But the double players in Donut, they looked like they had no hope in hell to get out of that. They were just overwhelmed. But now Freak's going to smoke off the left side of Cat. He might even try to swing from mid here. He's with Flom close on by. The flashes are coming in. That's going to be a big peek, and there it is. Those are 2 kills picked up right away on the kill feed, and we're already at 1:25.
So good control. They know it's a possibility. Cooper as well, I want to highlight getting a kill with the op, beginning to pick up steam. You love to see it. Sure though, this position is intriguing. Watch for Freak dismantled though. The monster of the server fell despite what was an advantageous duel, and Cooper now forced away by the Molotov gives Fluffy Aimers an avenue into the site. Sacrifice will throw smoke for the cross, I believe. Yep, there it is. Intra as well, continuing the tear, dropping Hate. Truck Lover's flank. Takes a lot of damage, but does get the kill. Spam, though, not so lucky. Flom instead dropping Jason, leaving just Sacrifice. He's the top individual performer in the last 3 months. Can he pull off a 1 versus 3? His play is to sit, smoke, and wait. Bide his time, look for opening, probe for an opening, but instead, he's caught in the middle of nowhere as the smoke fades. Truck Lover from Caves finds another, a second and a third overall in the round to maintain Mythic's lead.
Well, yeah, bare minimum, they're going to take this with a 6. So we'll see what they can do to bring things over. Maybe find themselves that 7th. I have no idea, but either way, that was a good attempt sacrifice in a top position, being in smoke like that, because I mean, you could see as soon as the smoke dissipated, he was just wide open. Like, he was in the worst position in the world. So it wasn't a whole lot that he could do in that kind of a spot. But either way, good rebound coming in from Mythic. They didn't even really take a timeout either. So, I mean, they didn't even have to reconvene their game plan or anything. So they just kind of been rolling with the punches, and it's starting to work out pretty well for them.
Yes, it is. Ouch, ouch. Truck, the anchor towards A. Again, a duel for Freakazoid. One from Caves. Looking for a second. He'll fall back. Happy with the opening. 16 and 8. He's not slowed down at all.
I don't know if you heard that noise cue too, but Flom's just on the other side of this wall. And I think that might be Pendulum that's just sitting on the other side of this, so they're about to meet each other pretty quickly. No flash yet. If Learsy can throw a Paul flash in this could be problematic right now for Flom. That bomb is leaning on that A site. And Flom, he's got an inkling. Yeah, he swings it. Oh my goodness, and Truck is right there to help him out too. Nice little 1-2 combination. Bomb's going to make its way, but Mythic, they have the numbers. They got some utility. This is a good retake position for them to be in.
Ooh, Truck faces the Molotov as well. Gets ahead of it. Oh, it's burning on his toes. He has to go forward. I think that was hurt at this point. Yep, Sacrifice now swinging around looking for it. That's unfortunate the way the Molotov spread. That was a really heads-up play from Truck. He'll be swung, but he'll still win the duel in spite of the low HP. Jason now the last alive, backside, hoping for a player to push CT. He lines up one, not the second. Cooper, he will not miss that shot. He rights his wrongs from earlier in this map. Gets to seventh, a guaranteed advantage for Mythic going into the second half, no matter what transpires. They're in fact looking towards an eighth now as well, given Fluffy AIMERS' compromised economy.
Yeah, and this is not a great feeling right now, especially for Fluffy AIMERS, like you said. I mean, the bomb does go down, so they can at least scrape the barrel a bit here. Good instant mid-smoke coming in from Mythic. It's going to go right onto elbow. And Fluffy AIMERS, they've had some good success getting into the A site, so now Truck, we're going to see if he's going to be able to find something. This nade does pretty good, does some good damage, about 50 damage in total, but he's not able to find any duels. And these guys don't hesitate at all. They just barrel into the site. They're being aggressive. Flom looking for the lineup, but he's taking damage through the smoke. He hasn't been able to find anything at all. It's do or die now. The man advantage is still here for Fluffy AIMERS, but the utility, it's looking good here for Mythic.
Took it okay. Still down by one, but there's no reason to say they'll have to go for it. They have good utility. Just lost the smoke. I spammed through a smoke. Bomb flashed in. Does scale his way out into sight, but there's still so many players in so many convincing post-plant positions. There should be no way, barring a tremendous ninja defuse. Cooper finds one. Time is of the essence. Pendulum can trade. Freakazoid going for duels, finding frags. One, not a second. They're both found. Fluffy AIMERS recover, but can they come back? We'll see after the break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a rather tight-knit, yet still, I don't want to say lopsided, but streaky game between Mythic and Fluffy Aimers. It's Pineapple Phillips and Laz to bring you the action. And Fluffy Aimers now on the defensive side of the first best of one of the evening. Ancient. Straight play out A main is the call for Mythic. Running forward. Jason, though, in towards Donut. Has something to say about it. The duelings of intro as well. Should know they split the goalposts. 2 goes for the price of 1. Pendulum now has to do all from backside box. His dink not done. Truck Lever now last alive. It swings back and forth, the momentum of the round, but it rests in the favor of Fluffy Aimer as it concludes. They're now 1 away from tying up the scoreline at the start of the second half.
Yeah, this is going to be the big test right now for Mythic. Because again, I know we talked about this in the pre-show. We talked about the stats don't necessarily matter. I mean, I know when Mythic played, Party Astronauts quite a while ago, I mean, T-side was definitely not their best friend. So I'll be curious if they've been able to kind of work on that T-side a little bit better as a group. Because CT was better with a 41%, whereas their T-side was 33 back in that time. Sacrifice, oh boy, yeah. He's just going to meat grind both these guys right up. And this could be a quick done and dusted round, unless we see some crazy TKs from Cooper onto his brother. And we're back to a tie game, Nate.
Right back to a tied game. Back to square one. The issue is Mythic invested in that round, didn't even get a bomb plant. That means their economy is going to be shot, and that means Fluffy Aimers have the opportunity to take the lead for what feels like the first time in this map.
Yes. I was just thinking about that. Yes.
I think it is. I'm gonna cautiously say it is. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm fairly certain. 3 Deagles and a P250. No, 4 Deagles and a P250. That could do damage. Mythic known to be individually skilled, individually gifted, but given the weaponry disparity overall, I don't think they should have a horse in this race.
Unless it's Truck. Unless Truck gets that Deagle singing. B-wall smoke or B-door smoke going to come through like I talked about. Nicely placed, and you can just see this, Fluffy Aimers, look at this. They're all over the catwalk. They're just bombarding it, man. They're just waiting things out. And that's the most annoying thing too, especially when you're in a position like this for Mythic with no utility. Like you can't do anything. Like you don't want to swing out. Like it's pretty much like a 90% chance you're dead. So now they just have to kind of run the clock down.
Yeah. Run to the meat grinder. Try to find these random, off-timed, unexpected duels. The chaos of the universe guides you. Hate trying to do the very same. Finds nothing. Flom. It's 2 team kills in 2 rounds for Mythic. Unfortunate how that works. Clever. Lurking out of A, though. Finds one while his teammate falls across the map. Jason mitigates the risk that was Truck. Last alive is Freak. Eagle in hand. He has Kevlar. That could help, I guess, in a duel. Should not have it. Ooh, timing's everything. Pendulum swings back. Lucky not to lose his head from behind. Still actually lose it on the reswing. Freakazoid finding one. That's a big one to find. Now damage is actually being done. A 3rd kill. Not going to happen. But if a 3rd kill did happen, it would have been meaningful damage. 2 M4s dropped as it is meaningful damage. I don't think Sacrifice will get an upgrade. So there was one dropped in towards Temple and one dropped up top catwalk that were not recovered. That's meaningful losses for the CT side.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like anything can help here, and I'm glad you brought that up because again, even though the Mythic don't take this round, I mean they're doing some good damage and they're just burning that economy. So yeah, if they could have found that 3rd, that could have been way more detrimental to these guys, but it doesn't happen. But either way, they're still damaging that CT economy because it's so fragile right now the way the game is. And Team Mythic back to a 3-2 split, just kind of waiting things out. Lots of utility being burned here on elbow, as well. Tons just being poured here from the CT side towards B ramp, of course, and B main. And already, I mean, the T's have actually kind of preserved a lot of their utility. So this is actually a good thing because now they have a lot more that they could retake for some positioning of control of the map. And now even Fluffy Aimers have kind of split this off with a 1-1-3, leaving mid open, but just having Jason kind of being that jiggle peek into mid.
Yeah. Very passive mid-wise, but luckily Mythic aren't going for mid control. They're actually content to try and wait out the smokes. That was their call. They saw Mythic go for, Fluffy Aimers go for aggressive mid control before. They wanted to wait out the smokes. Unfortunately, no such smokes did come through. They'll finally go for some control here. The issue is Fluffy Aimers still have a good amount of utility left on the belts to use in reaction. Hate for this lurk. Two players here. The Aqua Pendulum misses, and Freakazoid lines them up. He's going to continue his tear into the second half now. Straight sprint in towards B. Sacrifice can't find much of anything with the FAMAS given its fickle spray. Try to find Freakazoid. He will succeed in that endeavor, but still his team is down by 1, and Mythic have control of the site.
Yeah, they're just waiting things out too. I like this actually. They still have about 20 seconds to remain on this. They're just waiting for the utility. That smoke actually does have a bit of a gap, so it kind of flung onto the left-hand side, which isn't what you want. Cooper, unfortunately, can't find that double. Bringing it back to the 2v2 now. Flom looking like he's getting a little bit hungry here. Truck could throw the flash for him. Go for the swing. He does. The Flom. No, it's another TK. Oh, no, Truck. He doesn't help at all. He kills his teammate, and it just falls apart again. We've seen so many TKs.
These are the kind of wacky and zany antics I expect to see from a stream team. Copious TKs. How many rounds have there been in the second half? Ends at 12, so that was round 5 of the second half, and there's been a team kill in 3 of them.
That's absolutely insane. All from Mythic. Like
all from Mythic.
Not even like a mixture. It's just for Mythic. Oh. And that sucks because Truck obviously did the right thing. He threw the pop flash, trying to help Flom. But when he swung, he was obviously blind himself, and then he killed Flom, and it's just, oh no.
Let's make one thing clear. Very clearly Flom's fault. 100%.
Yeah, well, it's Flom's fault, yeah.
Flom's fault. On the record,
Flom.
Flom's fault. Distilling with any ambiguity. These players are all sitting in spawn doing nothing. This has to be a tech pause.
I'm thinking so, yeah. It looks like they're some kind of an
issue.
issue.
Still playing it out, though.
That's a little awkward.
Has to be a little bit flummoxed, perhaps. But as we see intro run back towards mid, I have to think, yeah. They know it's going to be a tech pause. They know it's going to be probably a match medic of some kind. Hopefully there's not an actual disconnect and maybe just a brief blip of some kind. We'll have to see, though. Interest looking for kills. I mean, not sure what is going on. He's going to take them out. So we're just going to wait. We're just going to talk. At this point, it's all but certainly going to be a reset round, a round that does not count, a round that is null and void. I think, though, struggling. Need to grease the wheels. Start the motor, start the engine, get it running again, get it chugging, because right now it feels like it's not starting off as smoothly as you would hope. As we mentioned, team kills. That's kind of a cornerstone of a T-side that's not very well practiced, perhaps, and a little too lined up, a little too quick on the trigger, a little bit nervous. I mentioned they were scrimming earlier. I don't know maps they were scrimming, but hopefully these issues can be rectified rather quickly.
Yeah, hopefully this
too.
Yeah. Everything looks like it worked, but yeah, the timeout's going to be utilized. But it does show 4 to 5, so somebody clearly is out. Who are we missing?
Did I say 4 to 5?
Yeah, in the corner.
Oh, you're right. I was like, yeah. Where?
Where? Well, could be wrong. Could be a bug. That's okay. We'll wait things out.
Gotta be Hey Cooper or Freak. That's the only 3 that it could read. For those 3.
Yeah. Possibly. Yeah, but even still, like I think a really impressive game so far. Like we talked about with Freak, I think the fact he's sitting at 21 right now is huge. There we go. Back in. But it's good to see that he's putting up some good numbers. But I do want to see a little bit more out of everybody else right now too. Like hopefully this won't be just like him carrying this a bit and picking up some big numbers. So I would like to see more from Flom and Hate especially too.
Yeah, I was kind of beating around the bush for a while, but Hate has had a very quiet map. Match medic, quick and brief, back to 5 versus 5. But Hate specifically has struggled. He's at 3 and 14. I don't know how his assists are looking. He's had some good flashes. I can say that for certain. He got a couple flash assists in that first half, but your whole presence in the server can't be flash assists and nade lineups. It has to be something more tangible. You got to be at least at Flom scoreline of 8 and 11, 9 and 13, like the likes of Cooper. Something along those lines to really have a meaningful impact, even as a support player. So pressure is definitely beginning to mount on his shoulders. Hopefully he can wake up individually here in this T side.
Yeah, that's so frustrating too, especially when you're just not having yourself like really a big game. And Hate can definitely put up some good numbers too. So that's the thing. It's not like a normal occurrence or anything like that too, right? Not really the anchor or anything of the team, I don't think, but we'll see. But like you said, putting good utility usage, and that's the name of the game, right? It is going to be that team aspect. And I'm wondering if this round is still going through. I think they're just waiting out the utility.
Yeah, they're spread out. I think
Yeah,
it's going to be
they're
a late lined up smoke for middle from Flom. This is a live round. It's got to
There
be.
we go. Yeah, that's another smoke coming through red room. Oh, I think that actually might have missed a. Oh no, it did land. Okay. Mini map showing a little bit differently. Full free. Good entry, but it's only one, so not enough. And now Mythic are going to try to bombard into middle right now, but Fluffy AIMERS is packing more of a punch, bringing it back to a 3-on-2. But that advantage is for Mythic for the time being, and they have that bomb control.
Solid trades from both teams. The issue was that Mythic started things off with that kill from Freakazoid. There's has to come in big on the side. He only has 72 HP, and a lot of players coming in his direction. Missed spray. He's just sacrificed alone. He's had a good map for himself. Not the hottest on the team, but still more than respectable scoreline. But a 1 versus 3 seems like too much to ask. 2 players are low. That is the saving grace. That is what gives him a chance. He has to find a kill rather quickly, or the opportunity will close. He has a kit, he has a smoke, he has a flash. He's still sticking around. He still thinks he can do something. The issue is Mythic now have transitioned to their post-plant setup. Peak, the information gained by Hate without a loss of life means that the round is over. Sacrifice has to fall back. He's hoping to at least bait someone into a hunt. But Mythic are too disciplined for that. They're going to save their guns for the following. And Mythic, one away from bringing it back to a tied ball game yet again.
Yeah, nicely done from Mythic. Again, not overexposing, not over swinging on that. Sacrifice, you know, I think he was waiting a bit too long, really hoping that, you know, Hate was in cave, you know, thinking like, okay, he's going to swing me. I'm going to be able to win that fight. And he did have that utility like you talked about, because I was kind of thinking he might try to smoke off, you know, maybe cave, or he was going to maybe try to smoke off, you know, the ramp. But yeah, he played it safe. I do agree with that, because now he can drop another M4. So we'll see what they're going to do here, and they're going to just work around it as much as possible. And we've seen Mythic again. They've played it really slow in terms of like re-aggressing for the map control. So this time it might be a little bit different. Some good utility coming in from Fluffy AIMERS once more. The 1-1-3. And Mythic, I don't even think they're hesitating on this. They're kind of just walk pushing into this. So Jason's going to need to be fully prepared. That flash comes in, not caught by it. So he's able to find that first duel. Still contesting. And now he's going to pull on back. This is a good play for him. He needs to bide some time for his teammate. Oh, that play was just about there.
I like the call. They know that Fluffy AIMERS buys on the back foot, so they go for an A play, expecting it to be light on defense, given the heavy emphasis on B. We saw a very similar set of plays from Fluffy AIMERS in the first half, and Mythic's play, very well read, very astute. Cooper now on the op is looking to make some inroads. He's found the first, a second for Truck Lover. The op of Cooper then, again though, caught in transition. Learsy now getting a major upgrade. But will it be a blessing or a curse in the retake? Truck Lover and Flom combined for the final set of kills. And the op again, an unwieldy weapon that gives a lot of confidence in a retake. 9-9, Mythic yet again tying things up, this time from behind and looking to push ahead as the buy from Fluffy AIMERS is non-existent.
Yeah, and I was kind of wondering about that positioning too from Cooper. Like, I really didn't like that personally, like him just pushing into temple like that, because you know that they're on lighter guns. You knew that they were going to not be able to, you know, they're going to get close quarters, and playing there with an op, you're really banking that you're just going to hit some sick shots. And like you kind of mentioned too, I think we both have, is he hasn't been able to find too much. Oh my God, the Zeus is out, but he is completely close. Oh, he still gets it though.
Oh, chance.
And he's still looking for duels. He's almost able to find one more too. A nice deagle shot coming in from Intra. Oh man, he might be able to find another one. This is falling apart. Mythic, this is scrappy. This is a brawl. This is chaotic. It's a 2v2 with still so much time on the board. They retrieve the off like you talked about. Luckily, Hate, he can now pick up some extra kills and they get that lead, but oh man, was that nuts.
Chaotic. I like the call from Mythic as well. You're all grouped up. You cannot back down at that point. You have to press forward. You've lost so many players that if you let off that gas for even a second, Fluffy AIMERS, the little rats they are with just pistols, they are literal rats in that situation, are going to race forward, get their little hands on an AK, and make the round a lot scarier. You cannot run away at that stage. When you drop 2 or 3 players, you have to fight it out. You have to keep control of those rifles and keep Fluffy AIMERS off them. Very well called. Good from Hate and Cooper, I believe, to hold their nerve and to hold down the A site and to bring it back from what could have been a catastrophic situation. I think, again, call is A. It's yet to be punished. They're going to go in with no fear, and Intra now has to do a lot coming in from Donut.
He's able to find 2 there. He's able to go for another quick jiggle. He's able to get that second kill. So now, leaving it with 3 here on Mythic, and they haven't even been able to get full control of this site. They're still trying to flush players out. Jason just in the back of CT spawn. Flom's just trying to see what he can find with timing. They have no groundwork here for this bomb, and they have no smoke to block this off either. So they have 3 flashes with an HE. So they need to be able to find duels. Fluffy AIMERS, if they overswing this and lose bodies, that could be a problem. And oh man, Cooper needing it. They're kind of baiting him a little bit. And that bomb does just go down from Hate. But now it's all just down to Flom by himself. A magnificent clutch needed, but no, that dream is definitely not a reality here. We're right back to a tie game again.
Heroics from Intra, finding 3 in the round, 2 on the opening to prevent the bomb from going down. The play there from Mythic is very much a pop play. They invest most of their utility into the take, they smoke off CT, they smoke off towards Donut, and then they go from there. But when they're stalled like they were by Intra swinging in towards site, and the smokes fade, then they're up the creek without a paddle. They can't do anything. They have to just wait and hope that they're given opportunities. And Cooper was given one such opportunity. The issue is the shot did not connect. They did good to at least find the bomb plant, but that's not nearly enough when it comes to the tail end of this first map.
This could be a big momentum shift here too. I mean, this is a lot of money being spent here from the Tees, and even Truck Lever. He's trying to get aggressive in A main, but the double player push for Fluffy AIMERS, such a great way to start things off. Isolate that part now. Mythic not really wanting to recontest this, and Fluffy AIMERS switching up their game plan and their stance here too, and actually probably looking like they might put more of a heavy lean on this B site again, and I like it.
Yeah. Awkward spot to be in. Slow standstill. Spread out pairs for Mythic. Fire team in towards A main. And a pair towards Snake. Fight in towards Jaguar. You know that's Freakazoid's stomping grounds. You can't challenge them. Their sacrifice. Slowly rotate around. A double from Hate. We mentioned he had to wake up. That's one way to do it. A double kill. He's done his work. He's traded, but he's found the opening. He's found the site. Jason swinging in through the smoke will find one, but Mythic now can infer that control of A is theirs if they move quickly enough. They transition expertly, and Jason and Inter are now left to try and retake in a 2 versus 3 setup. Bomb plant should be coming shortly, and Freakazoid could just shut them down as they swing from CT.
Yeah, there's no smoke either, so they have this molly, but Intra's just going to run through it, and there we go. That's a nice shot to get. Okay, Cooper just takes him right in the corner of the box, and now Jason, yeah, I don't think he's in a position that he wants to go for this retake. He does have a kit, does have a smoke. He could try the ninja if he wanted to, but I just don't think it's worth it given the money situation like you were talking about. And Mythic are going to be, again, sneaking a lead just barely. But, man, I really do think Hate was the player that kind of opened things up. The fact that he was able to find that double in B, and then they did the, you know, the double fake, essentially. They just left and then went back to A. It was such a good play. And Fluffy AIMERS, they bid on it right away.
They had to. They had to. Mythic, if they had control of that site and Hate stayed alive, then they probably would have gone for the B hit. But the veteran mind on all of these players said as soon as that player goes down, you don't even want to fight for control anymore. You know that second player is already in tow. Just go back towards A, change pace, play together, and the calmer veteran heads prevail in that round. 11-10, regaining the lead, and the economy for Fluffy AIMERS is in a rather difficult spot. They're lacking utility on 3. They have one kit, I guess that's something. They have an AK, that's something. But their backs are against the wall. They lose this. It's map point in this best of 1. And their economy is also completely ruined.
Yeah, such a good point. Because, again, the lackluster of utility is really going to bite them hard. So this is about them just trying to fight for control of the map. And they're going to have to, you know, win some duels here. They're making more of a problem. Great nades coming in. Learcy, he just catches both pins here down to 41. That Molotov, I think it won't catch him. Oh, it does. Oh, it does. Oh, my God. That is the worst feeling. You can see he's looking. He's like, no, surely not, right? And he was roasted alive.
Unfortunate. Might not even do that situation justice. Catastrophic might. That's the first of many kills that will break the camel's back, especially given the fact that there's next to no utility left now for the CT side. Sacrifice is very much alone. He has support, I guess, from Jaguar, but not from the other side. Makes it do it all the more easier. Cooper and Truck find one apiece. Pendulum and Sacrifice hit for tat, I guess. There's a good trade from Hate towards the B doors, leaving just Pendulum. He was in Jaguar, and now he's alone. 13 HP and a Dream. At this point, saving the gun doesn't even feel like a victory. Again, it'll be 12-10, and no one has money on this CT side to try and reinvest.
Yeah. Man, that's such a tough pill to swallow right now. Not an easy thing because, yeah, they're going to be hopefully able to save this AK, but even with the loss bonus and the way their money is right now, like you said, it's going to be the most scrappy purchase. Doesn't mean it's a write-off. We've talked about that, and we've seen it from Fluffy AIMERS even yesterday, but it definitely doesn't make it easy. That's going to be a lot more of a tall task for them to do, especially with Mythic being on map point.
Yeah, pressure's on. The pressure's always been on in ECL. It's kind of the case. Pendulum, he does grab an AK. Again, doesn't feel like a victory at this point, but it's something that they can cling on to as hope. If Foam had a nade and he threw it towards T-spawn on an Inkling, that would be really funny.
Yeah, that would be it.
Why wouldn't you? You have so much money. Come on, Flom, throw it.
No,
It's gonna clear. Oh, the pre-fire does work out in the last couple ticks of the round. Feels like this game has been against Fluffy AIMERS from the start. They did very well to bring themselves back into it. They seemed like they were behind pretty much every step until like the midway point of the second half. At one point, I felt like they might even turn the corner with the victory, but Mythic have brought it back in a very real way. As I mentioned, Fluffy AIMERS economy, shambolic, ruinous. 4 MP9s, a FAMAS, no kit, lackluster utility. This reeks of desperation. Nothing has worked. What can they change to try and crawl into overtime?
You mean the thing with the MP9s is nice is that an MP9 range is so random and it just does so much damage, but Flom, I don't know if he spotted him. Flom, please. And then, okay, now he's able to get out of this, but yeah, patience, I guess, is a virtue, we'll say, I guess. I don't know, but Mythic really holding back. A lot of like hesitation on this. Donut Smoke's coming in with flashes, so they're trying to buy on a little bit of an A hit. These CTs are kind of leaning on it. You have the double player Donut. So the B site only does have 2 players, but 1 in cave and 1 in deep site. So it's not a great position. If Pendulum goes down, that could make things problematic, but he actually wins that. And oh, Truck, you need your gun out, bro. You need to be able to frag out. And this is getting a little bit more awkward.
Sacrifice in towards K. That's a dangerous spot to play, but again, don't mess with Freakazoid in Jaguar. He's going to win the fight, it feels like 12 times out of 10. He's going to continue forward, timing's everything here. Finds the perfect timing, finally unseats him, but Flom, a good trade to maintain a 3 versus 3. 79 for Leadership Range is going to struggle to say the least. It'll do some damage, some harassing damage. Hate, in fact, will fall to Jason on a flank. Things are getting awkward. They're getting squeezed in a literal sense. Jason a second, and now Flom, the bomb planter, the clutch. The first not even found. Jason a 3K on the flank as he nearly ties up Freakazoid as the kill leader in the server.
That's what I was talking about, man. I said, look, like, even though it's MP9s, even though it's going to be a scrappy purchase, let's never count them out because that's just what Fluffy AIMERS do, I guess. We learned that yesterday, and they do it there. Mythic, I feel like they kind of put a little bit overthinking in that round and a lot of respect that they gave for Fluffy AIMERS, and it cost them, right? And now we're going to the last round. Series points still right now for Mythic. But man, oh man, I mean, this is only 1 round away from pushing overtime. And honestly, it's anybody's game now. It's not even like, you know, Mythic have just been steamrolling. I think this momentum has just been like a teeter-totter. It's back and forth.
The teeter-totter has also been rather streaky.
Yeah.
The team wins around, and they typically win 2 or 3 at least. So
yeah,
if that trend is to continue, that means Fluffy AIMERS are going to send us to overtime. They have a rather solid buy now off the back of that victory. Couple AKs in hand, good utility, rifles otherwise. No ups for either team.
And they're just pulling back too, right? I mean, they're just sitting back. This is what they've done over and over. This is like kind of their default. Like they don't put any pressure on early in the round.
Have to fall back. Feels like. Map has gotten so smothering. CT control so meddlesome. Sacrifice should smoke B door here in a minute. This is just gonna smoke Jaguar instead. Okay. trying to funnel them instead. I like the call. Like Mythic might finally go for a play towards the middle. 3 players grouped up. That 2. They're unsure of where they want to go. They want to get some information before they pull the trigger. Unfortunately for them, Fluffy Aimers are more than ready to just play on sites instead. Player, donut, player, passive towards A main on the boost, and play 3 on B with 1 in the cubby. That is the call, and this call is working out so well. Mythic, way too apprehensive to go for a take. They'll finally group up with less than 30 seconds left, and there are 3 players ready to defend the site.
Yeah, and as soon as a nade is thrown, I mean, they're going to know right away. Like, the time is ticking. So any noise they make, this is it. Player in the corner, that flash, it could be problematic here for Freak, but no, he's able to get this. Nice smoke coming in. Sacrifice, he gets blocked off here. Looking for the spam, not going to be able to find it. The bomb goes down, so some extra time is gained, but Sacrifice with a nice spray through the smoke, looking for a little bit more, just missing Flom. Still 4-on-2 now. The big advantage here for Mythic. Leaving it just down to Jason, a player that's been able to put up some big numbers, but it's not going to happen as Cooper solidifies the nail to the coffin, and they'll get this thing done with a 13-11.
You said this game was going to be a barn burner. We had some predictions of a rather contentious game, yet it was far more contentious than even our predictions. We said 13-8 and 13-9. I said Fluffy Aimers would take it. You said Mythic would. It turns out you were correct, but I must say this game could have gone either direction to the very bitter end.
Yeah, I think it like that's the thing is we were saying like both these teams I think have good experience, but I mean the edge definitely was for Fluffy Aimers, and that's where I was saying like Mythic, the fact that they had that win, like I said, winning against Timberman, a 1-on-1 split, and the fact their loss was so close, I was like, okay, maybe something's a little bit different now for Mythic. Maybe they're actually on that upward trend here where they're doing quite well, and that's something they do. And you said it a little bit earlier about streaky. And that's kind of how these teams are, right? I mean, they kind of play on these streaks and then things slow down right away for whatever reason. But that was anybody's game, man. That was absolutely filthy.
Yes, it was. We do have an MVP as well to crown in this first best of 1. It is Freakazoid. I think that was going to be a given. 27 kills, didn't quite reach that 30 kill threshold, but 123 ADR. And of course, consistent. I don't think there was a time where he was dropped in towards Jaguar or Cave without finding a kill. His success there, unparalleled in what I've seen on this map.
No, for sure. And I mean, that's the thing, like you were saying, like, if you're going to fight him in Jag, like you're not going to win. And it's true. Like, I feel like 9 times out of 10, he was just taking that possession. He was winning those duels. He was getting entries. If it was a CT side, he found an opening duel somehow, some way. And that was huge. I mean, a 1.35 KDR is really good. I mean, that's the thing. And like, yeah, he didn't push 30 frags, but I mean, there was one point that he had all the kills of his team combined and more. So that was the thing. Like, we saw that he was just putting up some filthy numbers on the CT side.
He had pressure, and he had consistent pressure on that CT side. He did fall off here and there on the T side, but if he actually got a Jaguar into position, he definitely found some success. There are still some worrying cracks, though, for both teams. I want to talk about kind of the passive hold towards the middle from Fluffy Aimers that kind of caused them to lose a lot of control on that CT side, as well as Cooper. I'm rather concerned. He did pick it up at the end, but there were a fair few, I want to say 3 or 4 shots that were gimme shots that were missed, and that has me very concerned going into any future maps, regardless of what they are, regardless of how op-centric they are. You need your opper to be hitting those shots at all times.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you, because I think the one thing that we did talk about a little bit about was the update, that we had, the big update where Peeker's advantage was reduced, and, the game just felt a lot better. I feel like the op actually was connecting a lot better for a lot of players. I think pros were kind of saying like, this does feel good, but I think, seeing Cooper not being Cooper with the op, and he looked pretty uncomfortable a lot. Like, his positioning was very questionable at times, in my opinion. So I kind of wonder if he just needs to have a conversation about how he can be more successful with the AWP, because I think that was kind of the point where he's just not doing what he normally does. Because like you said, he has a great opper, and there was one point where he was a decent contender in North America about as a top prospect opper. So we want to kind of see that back here for Mythic, and that could be the key of success for these guys in this season.
It could be, and yet in spite of that, they still found a victory on that first map of Ancient. We do have one more, not the same match. It's going to be a separate best of 1 coming up between Fluffy Aimers and Mythic, but we're going to take a brief break. When we return, we'll have the breakdown for that second map. It is Vertigo. Spoilers, we'll see you in a few. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We just saw the conclusion of that first best of one. Again, 2 separate best of ones. We harped on it yesterday. I'm going to harp on it through the whole season because I like being annoying. I'm Pineapple Phillips, joined by Laz, not to be confused with Alan and Alan, who are not us. However, I would love to be named Alan, as would you, I'm sure. Again, It is Mythic versus Fluffy AIMERS, and it is a second best of one. We do have a veto as well to go through very quickly. Again, I spoiled it earlier. The map is going to be Vertigo, but let's see how we got there.
Yeah, and like you kind of talked about a little bit too. I mean, there's the the double bans essentially that come through, so you can see that there's Anubis and Overpass get instantly removed, and Mirage and Inferno not going to be in the deck of cards, and then Nuke was the final one to get banned, and then leaving it all down to Vertigo. And I don't know how I feel about this because, again, we talk about history, we talk about stats. I remember even back when you and I used to, commentate the other seasons of ECL. Like, I mean, this never was a fun map for Mythic. So, I mean, the fact that it got to Vertigo, I'm not really looking forward to for these guys. Like, I think that's a pretty scary note, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is a scary note. I also do want to highlight in the veto, for those of you who are confused or might be confused, the Ancient is grayed out with no one banning it.
Yeah.
It's the first map. They added in a clause. You cannot play the same map twice. That first map is getting auto default banned in the second set of vetoes. Thank God they added that. Otherwise, we'd be seeing a lot of the same map back to back. And yeah, Vertigo, as you mentioned, not a map that Mythic love, not a map that a lot of Counter-Strike players love, if I'm going to be quite honest. It turns into the same kind of monotonous drone. There's not a lot you can do. You're kind of funneled into one of 2 separate plays. So we're going to have to see exactly how both teams want to approach it. Both teams, though, have had promising results on this map recently in their opening bouts yesterday. First, we'll talk about Fluffy AIMERS because you and I had the privilege of casting that one. That was a game that they won versus a compromised Carpe Diem. I want to add that asterisk, compromised. They did not have Walco, but they still won it rather convincingly, 13-7, thanks to some individual performances. And Mythic as well, they did not get across the line in their Vertigo match, but they got pretty dang close versus a team like Timberman, who's quite a fiery squad. They lost that one in overtime, 13-16. With those 2 kind of stats, you can't glean too much of it because it's separate teams, but still, both teams overall doing okay on the map in their opening nights.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, and I'm glad you brought that up because I think for Fluffy AIMERS, like, Carpe Diem, it was, again, kind of an asterisk on it because they didn't have Wolco. They did have Micro coming in, which, I mean, I think we got to see on the second map, on the second BO1, my apologies, is it was a win that went for them. But either way, like, Fluffy AIMERS did look really, really good on that Vertigo. I mean, it was a pretty decent win with that 13-7, and Sacrifice was playing lights out. I mean, he was sitting at 21 frags with 11 deaths, and then even right behind, like we said, Learcy actually was sitting just behind with 20 and 11. So both those guys were putting in 1.51 and a 1.55 rating. So pretty unreal when you kind of put all things considered.
Yeah, and I also want to highlight in that first game of the evening, Jason was the one really fragging. Jason is the other quiet player on the roster, and he was finding success. If he can translate that into Vertigo, we could have a very solid game on our hands. But in the game now proper, it is indeed no delay. A straight play up towards A, and 2 kills for the price of 1. They got 2 kills for the price of 2. Jason, the aforementioned player, finding one straight through the smoke. Lucky to get out alive. A good set of nades now to tag Jason down and humble him a bit in this retake. Is there a kit in play? It does not seem like it. That means Fluffy AIMERS need to start this defuse and this retake sooner rather than later. They'll push in. Good flash. Flom finds the first, though, the tagged player. Sacrifice gets one and is traded. And Learcy now gushed and done. Dealt with by Freakazoid. A quick pistol for Mythic. And is that all 3 pistols thus far of this evening going in their favor?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is, yeah. Mythic are doing a great job getting these pistol rounds, but it's, now the big question of like how well they can convert the second round too, right? I mean, this is a better position for them because obviously if they were on the CT side, that'd be a lot, different of a story. But right now, Fluffy AIMERS are just going to equip these pistols with the P2s and Deegs. Nothing really else, no utility going to be spent either. So this is just going to be about firepower, just hitting some shots, which will be interesting to see what they can do. And Mythic have been pretty respectful in this, these BO1s that have been happening. So we'll see if they're going to be a little bit different on this. See if Free can maybe maintain his lead here with getting these big entries and, kind of doing what he does best. I mean, that's the beauty of what Freakazoid is, right? I mean, he is that guy that has no fear. He'll just go in head first.
Saw a lot of that in the first map. Sacrifice, though, making Freakazoid look a little bit foolhardy, pressuring up a ramp, beheads him with the deagle and falls away, not getting too greedy. This isn't even a full investment from Fluffy Aimers. They got some upgraded pistols, but they're saving for the most part. Only a USP on Leersey, 2 P250s, 2 deagles. But kills like that, if we can find another one on a deagle, this round could just snowball into the favor of Fluffy Aimers.
Yeah, and you can see Mythic are really, again, they're just, like I said, a lot of respect, so they're taking things really slow. They're trying to make it like very quiet. A bit of a silent hits here, and now obviously they do a little bit of a pop into the site. The Leos are coming through, so they should be able to get better positionings on the ramp. And these pistols are not going to be in a great spot here. Not favorable, but there is Mac 10 here for Intra if he wants to even test this, but now he comes in from the back. It does look like he actually gets a connection here with the Deeg. And he's finally going to get it removed, and time is ticking here. No kit once again, and Mythic should be able to just clean this up pretty easily. Leaving it all down to 1, and yeah, he's out of here. He realizes, not a hope in heck.
Oh, he has Kevlar. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, I didn't see that either until now. So yeah, again, that's a very good save, because again, that's a lot of money you're spending. That's 650 you don't want to lose. And now you can convert that for a weapon here.
Yeah. Question is, do they want to force buy? They all have around 4,300, barring that single player. And yes, they will. They're compromising on an MP9, but 4 M4 surround, and we do have a kit in play as well. As well-rounded a buy as could be asked for Fluffy Aimers. Mythic as well, their buy is going to be a bit of a bonus with 2 Galils on Cooper and Flom. But a lot rests on this. If Fluffy Aimers lose this round, it's going to be 0-3, likely 0-4. And from there, Mythic can kind of build up that T-side economy. Things could look a lot scarier for this CT side early on in this first half.
Yeah, and like you talked about with, Mythic, we were saying, they don't historically do well on this map, even though they went, pretty hard in the distance and overtimes against Timberman. Flom was the one player that was sitting at a 1.05 rating in that, and everybody else was, the next highest was a 0.95, which was from Cooper, and then it just kind of went downhill from there. So we're going to have to see if that's going to be a little bit different here for Mythic from everybody else, because Flom was kind of the quiet one in the first best of 1, right? So kind of interesting to hear that even, earlier on when he played Timberman, that he was actually doing some of the big damage.
Yeah. 2-step now. You see one close. There's an MP9 spotting a close angle. Straight lineup of utility to B is the call. Early commitment with, I believe, a lurk perhaps. Some spam from Freak. Play is coming through. Leersey here, 2 close as well, rotating in. 3 players on B to defend. That's going to make this difficult for Truck on point. He'll find the first. Finds the MP9. A second on the jump over. Does not find anything. Sacrifice on the back of the site is not expected. He gets 1, but only 1. Rotation has come through in full effect, but the bomb will get planted. The spam from Hate brings Hate raining down upon Intra. The last 2, Pendulum, Jason, both on low HP. No kits on the belt, no utility to facilitate a retake. That means they're going to have to give away the round. They're going to give a 3rd in a row to Mythic, a very similar start to that first map, in hopes of using these rifles and putting them to good use in the next round.
Yeah, and the fact that we're seeing Mythic already starting things off with a nice 3-0, this is a really good start, because Fluffy Aimers, I think they were pretty strong on their CT side. I think their T side definitely is better when they play this map, but I mean, the fact that Mythic are getting this good of a start already, money's just starting to build up nicely, taking down 3 players where there's only going to be 2 rifles saved. They can, they have that 3,000 mark where they could force up with MP9s or even a FAMAS if they want to. But what are we going to see different? I hope that Fluffy Aimers re-aggresses in this on either onto the B stairs or maybe even A ramp and just really contest something here, because Mythic, again, they're playing very passive, so I think they could get away with something.
Definitely could get away with a bit of aggression, maybe towards middle, maybe something similar. I think we did see that flank from Intra down the ladder in mid on round 2, so that might be more expected this time. The half buy surround those M4s. You have seen the pistols find some success though, so Mythic can't let off the gas. Here we go for, again, more passive hold to bottom ramp. So let's spread across. Kind of, there's the aggression you were hoping to see, but doesn't get much. It gets good damage, but it does not get a kill. That's one of the 2 rifles now dropped. Sacrifice slowly pressuring forward, does it recover the gun. Here's he actually, there we go, more aggression, finds one, sacrifices two from the corner before Flom trades. Advantage secured, and the next player not expected whatsoever. Hate, good trade, but still on the back foot. 1 versus 2, he's gonna throw the take utility, hopefully get the plant before the rotations come through in full. No, spam from Jason delays. He will finally get that bomb down, but his flank is a massive timer for Hate. He has to isolate one of these two players in order to win this one and to maintain this flawless start. Good look, good shot from Hate. Finds the first, can he find the second? He knows where Jason was, and that nade is perfect. Actually, just a little bit long. There's a kit. He's gonna sticking it. That takes a lot of gumption, and that gumption is misplaced. Much to his chagrin, Hate is ready to swing from the side hull, and Mythic continue with a 4-0 clean start. Hate a 1v2. Hate a player we called out for being quiet in that first map, and now is shining atop the scoreboard in the second.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you brought that up because again, yeah, Hate was really quiet on Ancient, but now he's starting to come alive here. Him and Truck are kind of, top fragging in this. And for the fact that he's able to put a 1-on-2 like that, he looked composed, he looked really good. And like you said, he was able to isolate those duels right away, which was perfect. But a little bit of mispositioning coming in from Fluffy AIMERS, the fact that they did that, I think that cost them. I think it would have been better for the double player, but either way, it's a 4-0 lead now for Mythic. Full gun round coming back. No off here for Fluffy. But it is going to be for Cooper. And both him and Flom have actually taken a big, brunt of damage here already early on this round. And they're going to creep towards these B stairs. But it is actually two players close on by. Another nade just kind of tickling Flom. This is not looking good right now. Mythic, they're kind of running into a bit of a trap. Lyrcy, he's just getting roasted alive. Hasn't seen a single player, but he's just going to be able to find one more before he goes. Leaving two remaining, leaving it just down to Hate. I don't know. This is asking a lot now. He's able to take down the head of Jason, but I don't know. Surely, Nate, he can't pull this off. A 1-on-2?
Yeah, the critical issue is that he doesn't have the bomb and he has no sight control. That's what made the 1 versus 2 possible in the last round. That and combined with the fact that they gave him 2 1-on-1 duels. This time, though, they're grouping up. That Molotov flubbed. And that angle to Esoteric. Sacrifice finds the kill. And they are at long last on the board. Fluffy AIMERS. They should have been on the board in the round prior if they played it together, but at least they right the ship now with round number 5. Economy for Mythic as well. Rather poor despite the early start due to the number of casualties they had in the round before.
Yeah, and it was a good mix-up that we saw from Mythic too. Like, I mean, they kept kind of putting pressure on A, but they try to mix things up at B. Keeping the variety, keeping, Fluffy on their toes, but it does backfire a little bit for them. Changing the pace, which was good to see. Pendulum now going to be locked in with the op here, just waiting on the top of stairs. And for this round, I mean, Mythic don't really have good funds on this. The Tech 9 not able to find that charge. Jason, actually, surprisingly, only gets that 1 kill. Intra on the back of Sandbags, going to get smoked out. That could actually be a decent position for him. Flom reads him like a book. That mullet misses, and it goes right through the pillars. So now that opens up things a little bit here for Mythic. It's making it a 2-on-2. And this thing is getting a little bit awkward, but Lyrcy gets a good inkling. And now leaving it on to Hate. We've talked a lot about him, man. He seems to be the LMS. He's the guy that wants to put up some decent numbers. He's looking for redemption, but he gets caught in the back. And there we go. Another scrappy one for a second.
Scrappy one, 3 players fall. The op is recovered, but it does not allow this CT economy to really flourish. Keep in mind, Mythic were on a half buy. They had 1 hero AK and a bunch of Tech 9s, and they still did a good amount of damage. That keeps the economy honest for Fluffy AIMERS. It keeps them in a position where they can be economically reset. And so if Mythic can take this round, round number 7, put a 5th on the board for themselves, they should also wrestle away economic control yet again into their favor.
Oh, that op, I love that. I love that we were going to see some more aggression coming in. Freak was trying to, open up a little bit here with utility, but a bit of a backstab, and we haven't really been able to see too much from the AWP yet, but we finally do. And Mythic running low on the utility, right? I mean, this is not great, and they're all grouped up towards B. Really trying to bank on this. I'm not sure why. I mean, it hasn't really been that great for them.
Hasn't. And that is another non-starter as Lyrcy beheads Truck before the take even comes through. 5 versus 3. Mythic getting picked apart at the extremities. And alone, might I add. No answers. In either case, Cooper finally finds an inroad, but takes so much time for it. Jason caught by Hate, phasing a smoke. That's a big one to find. Hate doubling down. This is his map now. It's his turn to put up a freak level performance. Pendulum swings into sight, tries to find some answer, but his op shot misses, and so he falls. Flom finds that intra. Eating a grenade, perhaps my feed kind of freezes. He does not quite go down. Pistol in hand, desperation in the round, but Flom, Stream King himself, will put that round to bed. 5-2, op left on the ground. And Mythic should now once again have the economic control.
Yeah, and I don't know. I like, look, I mean, I get what Fluffy Aimers were trying to do. They smoked the stairs. They're trying to change up their positioning, you know, be a little bit cheeky on the side of it, but I don't know. It didn't feel like you needed to go for that. I mean, I feel like that smoke was already doing its job. It was going to buy some time, and it cost them. I mean, I think that was Hate that was able to get those, you know, duels through the side of the smoke on both players. So a little bit of a positional issue, I think, from Fluffy. But, I mean, allowing Mythic now to gain 5. Only one more needed here for a 6 minimum on the half. And Pendulum now actually going to walk through, takes down Freak, and he just hasn't been able to find success at all. Unfortunately, he's been punished here time and time again.
Punished consistently. Shadow of his former self from Ancient, unfortunate. Thankfully, Hate has been more than happy to take up his stead. Truck boosted up. Not expected, not spotted by Learsea, it appears. Knows it's a possibility. 4 versus 5. Fluffy Aimers did force buy into this. That makes things kind of awkward. Jump up for Truck.
He still wins. He still wins it.
Yeah, that's surprising. Good one to find. Pendulum now back sight, trying to find a trade, but Truck not going to overextend. Gonna let Cooper now slink in towards Zay. Good read from Mythic, knowing the rotation is going to go immediately through. Sacrifice thinks better of it, walking back into elevator, but he's not actually on the site proper. Hate clears him out, and that's a rifle difference. The FAMAS does not one-shot, the AK does. Pendulum finally unseats Truck, but the damage has been done. Rotation was sent to B. That allows the bomb plant now on A.
Yeah, this Molotov from Cooper, that's going to be great too, because that's actually going to push, I believe that's Intra. He's going to get pushed back, and now the CTs have a tough thing to decide for. I mean, they have a smoke and a flash remaining. No kit, though, so let's remember that. So now the timer is already hit pretty much its halfway point, so they have to get moving now. Cooper comes in from the side, swinging, goes for more, and Cooper able to get the job done. Maybe able to do enough here. And this is going to be another round for Mythic. Flom running in, just whipping the knife, hoping he's to take the wheel here, and that's not going to happen, but Mythic will get the round done. And they're going to lose Hate, but that will be all good because they got plenty of cash to keep things moving. And man, oh man, Mythic, they're starting to get on a good groove.
Yep, they have 6 at the very least. 10 is a possibility. They have a hefty advantage here. Actually, both gamers are going to reinvest into it. This is not something I was expecting. At the very least, take a tack pause to talk it through before you commit to it. Force buy. Oh, no, they do measure it out slightly more. Do they? I'm torn on this. They have 2 players nearly full investing and 3 players saving at around 2K in the bank. Yeah. It's kind of all over the place. I'm not sure what to make of this investment for Fluffy Aimers. I don't really like it, but it could pay off because they have that pair of rifles. Right now, the overall game plan of Fluffy Aimers seems to be somewhat disheveled, not on the same page, and I'd say a timeout's overdue.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think this call for the purchase is a little awkward. And I think, you know, Fluffy Aimers, they're going to need to call a timeout. I was kind of thinking they would have done it this round or worst case next. But yeah, I think they're starting to lose control of this. I don't know if that stubbornness is starting to kick in, but you can just see everybody's starting to pick up these duels. Trade should be coming back in, but they already know where one of the 2 players are. So they can just regroup, re-aggress on this if they want. Interest making a ton of noise, but they're going to be all the way out of here. Sacrifice actually surprisingly finds another kill with the Deagle, so Mythic have full intel on this. Nades are flying, they're barreling in. Sacrifice trying to look for that molly just to counter the planter. Not going to work. It catches onto the smoke, so the plant should be done for free. But man, what is with them getting kills through the smoke?
Yeah, it was a bigger thing yesterday, but it's still happening today here and there. 2v2 off the back of that miraculous spray. Cooper and Truck, though, are grouped up towards side hall, and they have good flashes to peek off of the tap and save them. They're just going to go for the outright swing, and that's to Truck Lover's chagrin. He's caught. Cooper now to clutch. He has a kit. He has to get the kill. He gets the kill, but he can't prevent the defuse. He's taken down plenty of time by Intra, who will get it. 3-6. Fluffy AIMERS finally get another round on the board, but does not instill confidence. It goes down to the wire, and they're honestly given a way back into it by virtue of a lucky spam through the smoke.
Yeah, and I like that idea that Mythic were trying, you know, for the pop. I think it was Flom that was throwing the pop flash, and I think that was Hate that went for the swing, but I would have liked if they waited a little longer on that, because I think they could have bided some time, but they were trying to, you know, catch them off guard with their timing. But yeah, I think Fluffy AIMERS had a good read on that situation, and the flash didn't land as best as they wanted it to, but nonetheless, it was a very good effort. You know, just trying to reaggress, putting the number advantage in Mythic's favor. Didn't work out to be. So now it's going to be a bit of a scrappy pistol purchase. Now they're going to run through mid. They're going to mix things up a little bit. They're going to try to see what they can do. They've been successful in this before, but Intra does finally catch one on mid connector. Players have made it up top. Learcy having a bit of a field day. This is starting to turn a bit of a quick round. Unless we see a truck crazy highlight reel round, it could be over quick, and it is. And there we go. Fluffy now find 2 consecutive as we get closer and closer to that end point of the first.
It has been a long time since we've seen one of those sensational truck lover clips.
Yeah, man. Some of them are so good, though.
They're unreal. They're unreal.
They're out of
We're overdue
nowhere.
is what I'm saying. We are overdue.
It is true. I think the last one I saw was Anubis, and I think he had a deal or something, and he was just playing A main. Yeah, he just... Yeah, okay. We need one of those.
See? It was like when there's actual stakes on the line, he disappears. I'll say it.
Yeah, it's true.
Scrappy buy for Mythic, trying to head in. Pendulum and Sacrifice, though. Shut down 2 for the price of 0. Molotov will unseat Intra, force him away, but they can easily just go for a retake at this stage. They have the advantage 5 versus 3. It's like they're rather keen on preventing a bomb plant entirely. They want to shut down Mythic. They want to give them no money to use in that last round of this first half.
Yeah, Pendulum's just kind of sitting on side all here still. Cooper, he's got a bit of an inkling on this because he knows the smoke's there. He finally gets him down. This is just so awkward. I mean, it's some way it's a 3-on-3, and Fluffy AIMERS had the big advantage on this. Plants coming in. Cooper still finds another kill. That's just such an awkward way for him to get that second duel. Learcy now trying to creep just on the side here. Bomb box takes down Truck. Takes a big blunt of damage though. So now leaving it to a 2-on-2. Molly is still in the hands here of Hate. He could try to preserve that as much as possible for the ball. Cooper comes in. Cooper comes in and finds 2 more, making it a quad.
Individuals that weren't as hot in map number 1 coming alive in map number 2 to maintain momentum for Mythic. Flom, Cooper, Hate, Truck Lover all picking up the slack that is Freakazoid, who's been struggling. He had a sensational map 1. Now imagine what happens when they're all firing on all cylinders, when they're all on the same page. Then it becomes a really fearsome team to be reckoned with.
Yeah, it's kind of like they did like a full opposite, right? I mean, it was Freak that was top fragging on the first BO1, and then it was Hate that was kind of sitting in the back lines, and now it's just switched around like you said. But that's what we wanted to see, and there we go. Truck Lever now trying to put matters into his own hands. He does actually even some extra damage on the Learcy, so that's big. It's not a kill, but it's a kill and a half. And now Freak does get a little bit of answer back, and the Abadir brother now going to avenge his brother, so leaving it back to a 3-on-2 and an advantage for Mythic with a Molly and double flash available for Fluffy AIMERS with no kit. And they have nothing else to do here. Like, they gotta go. Like, they can't even save.
Yeah, compelled to go for something. MP9s. Let's tell you how bad things are. Intra and Learcy both rotating in now, one up top. Might find something over the smoke. Spots the head of one, but doesn't pull the trigger. He'll try to race in and close the distance. Intra. Also on rotation. Learcy actually does find one, but the trade is in. Intra the last alive. Trying to find something in range, but cannot. Mythic, an 8-4 lead as we end the first half. We'll see you on the other side of this break. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Mythic, a very solid start to the second best of one. It's Pineapple Phillips and Laz on the mic, and again, aggression towards A, this time from Fluffy AIMERS. Cooper, though, will not miss on the entry, finds one, fades away. A best start that could be asked for Mythic in this second pistol. They could go 4 for 4 on pistol rounds this game.
They really could. I mean, it's definitely a possibility right now. Mythic now going to have to show us how good they are on the CT side. Freak just holding the HE. This is going to pop open the smoke.
Ooh.
Actually does take down the planter, so that's great. So now this is going to buy a little bit more time. Maybe Intro just going for the fake. Expecting more nades to come through. But look at this. Mythic, they just run through a smoke. Oh, man. And Pendulum just takes down 2 of them already. Now leaving it to a 3-on-2, and this is not looking good. These blocks are just doing so much damage, leaving it to Flom with the most HP. 11 combined for Cooper and Truck. Not what you want, but now, some way, somehow, that USP finds the head of 1. Pendulum does take down Truck. Lots of time to burn here. He can find these pickings. Oh, there it is. Flom, it's all down to you. The NA stream man, can he do it? Can he bring in the heat for another pistol? He will not. And Fluffy, they're going to be able to finally get themselves a pistol round much needed.
A much needed pistol round. It wasn't even theirs for the taking. It was Pendulum's for the taking. He not only got a 1 versus 3, he got an ace. He got the 2 running through the smoke. He got the 3 in the 1v3. He put the team in the backpack and hiked up the mountain. Started what will be a long climb back into this map. Back into Vertigo. They're still trailing by 3, but hopefully a performance like that is enough to get the team back on the right track.
Man, I just can't believe those blocks made those connections. That was huge. That made that such a winnable situation. And the positioning was good for Mythic, too. Good molly. That actually does give a noise cue a little bit. I believe that would have been... I think that might have been Flom or Freak that caught that. I think it might have been Freak given the damage. And Flom's not going to hold a tight angle. Not great. Not great. Not great. Yeah. And there it is. Mac 10s all over the board. Leaving it down the truck. And he's a dead man walking.
Eagle flip. We talked about it. It's overdue. Nope, never mind. Caught, stuck in a corner, scared and afraid. Truck lover. Taken down. Only 1 kill to be spoken of for Mythic, given that force spy. That's far from ideal. Fluffy AIMERS now a very easy go in this next one, or it should be an easy go, given the fact that Team Mythic are on a save. 1 P250, 1 grenade, and 1 deagle. Actually, a couple grenades. 4 grenades, a deagle, and a P250. So a nade stack in the cards for Mythic.
Yeah.
Those nades have to be chunky if they want to find a way back into this kind of round.
I think they're going to use it for the planter. I would imagine they're going to. Unless they have some plan to just throw a ramp. Oh, maybe. Okay, well, never mind. That's a good nade. That's 1 chunky nade. A little bit of USP damage, though. That's not bad, but Interest just running through, having a bit of DM session. These pistols are surprisingly doing quite well. I mean, now leaving it to Truck by himself on a 1-on-3, but if he can find another kill, that's just going to burn the money situation here against Fluffy, which I think is kind of the whole point. Got a little bit of time. Ball's going to go down. He's swinging, but it's an old miss.
Now pressure's on. It's going to be their first rifle buy of this half. They lose it. They're probably going to be on a save yet again. And it's a tied ballgame. Fluffy AIMERS can again take away the lead for what would be the first time in this map. Much like the first map, the first best of one in Ancient. They took their first lead in the midway point of that second half. So things kind of playing out the same as they did before. Cooper has his op though. There's M4s, there's solid utility. It should be around where Team Mythic are advantaged.
Wow, we know better than that. We know that they have the better weapons and things like that, but doesn't mean it's always going to work. We saw it on Ancient. Fluffy AIMERS had the worst guns. I mean, they don't even have bad guns right now, but we'll see what they do. Ooh, Flom. Poor guy.
Loves the flames. We saw it on Ancient as well in Donut.
Yeah. Okay, Cooper does find that off. The cost of 99 damage, though. He's sitting at 1 HP. Could put a feather on the guy and he's going to tumble over. That's saying a lot. He's buff.
It is. It's prime time for someone to throw a smoke line up and have it hit him in the chest.
That was
Freak. The other of the brothers is in towards sandbags. He'll smoke it and get away. No one was holding it. Very odd. We see just alone throwing the clearing utility. 49 seconds left, but a lot of players on Mythic have been chipped down. Flom, as you mentioned, by the Flames. Cooper within a breath of death. Fluffy AIMERS as well have enough smokes to go for an execute. Freakazoid knows he has to get crafty. 30 seconds left. He needs some information. He's going to press towards side hall. Intra is here waiting, and Freakazoid just not ready for the timing. Good kill for Intra to start things off on this A site take. Hate now, a lot to do. He's had a good second map. The question is, can he hold off long enough as this take comes through? Good Molotov, well timed. 20 seconds left. He'll spam the smoke. It's his turn to have some success through it. He'll find Learsey.
Look at the time.
Advantage regained, and 10 seconds left to make this plant happen. Jason drops Cooper at long last. Plant will be attempted, but it's going to stop it outright with a push through the smoke. It's Truck to find two. Intra and Jason
stay alive.
but Truck through the smoke stays alive and finds the final kill. That was a hectic conclusion to the round. I thought Truck would have been long gone given the lack of time. And he stuck around. That could have gone either direction.
Oh, that terrified me. I was thinking, okay, there's no time at all. Like the other player was so far away by Sandbag. I was like, there's no way that they're going to be able to get there in time to get the plant. So they would have had to go for the duel. And I mean, Truck was really, really treading on some scary waters, but he gets it done. Regardless, that could have really gone the other way. That could have been a bit terrifying and a bit, you know, of a bump here in the motivation. But Mythic, they pull through. And they get that lead now in 9-7, but it's going to be the cost here with 3 MP9s. That is not something you want to see, but on a map like this, could be a decent effect if they can get close and personal with it.
It's a good, very different weapon up close and personal. Truck lever. Started things off well. This is the opposite of close and personal, though. Freak caught through the smoke and through the wall. And he can't catch a break on this one. Back to even footing, and again, those MP9s are going to struggle.
MP9s are sick, though.
Oh, they're still overpowered, but you can't peek that kind of long angle with an MP9 and realistically expect success.
No, of course not. Yeah, no, but they are still like quite OP. I mean, I think a lot of people know that too, and that's kind of the, I don't know, it's a very mixed feeling, I feel, because when you're the one that's doing it, you're like, oh, this is great. But when you get, you know, fragged against, you're like, oh, this is stupid. All right. Well, Nate's coming in, blocking things off. Hate waiting his timing. Very nice time to come with the molly. Double smokes coming through. It's a little bit premature on the molly, but it's still going to buy them a little bit of time. Because the bomb's still trying to make its way into this. Intra taking big damage. Smoke might be able to take him out, and it does. This is where it can get problematic. 14 seconds remain. Now they have to force the plant. He's going to be able to do it. And I don't know what is going on here.
Chaos.
Man advantage.
It is man advantage. Smoke down on the ramp to try and compel Learsey forward. All in the MP9 could find something up close. Sacrifice those is biding his time in the corner. Spam is perfect. Exemplary from Flom. Learsey, though, to trade onto Hate. That means the MP9 wielder, the Stream King himself, has to clutch up. He knows where one is. He gets the dink, but again, the lack of stopping power on those SMGs come to haunt them. He can't get the kill. He finds that second one. The third definitely feels like a possibility, but heart of the cards were not in his favor. Fluffy AIMERS bring it back, clot back to within 1, and Mythic's economy is sent a-tumbling. They're on a save yet again.
And it's coming down so close to the clock too, right? I mean, these are, I feel like it's a, you know, a budget version of Navi right now, right? I mean, this is the thing. Like, it's when you run the clock that low, I mean, you just have to worry about so many things. And Fluffy AIMERS, they're getting lucky a little bit on this too, because Mythic are doing a lot of great things to try to counteract this. Freak finally going with a little bit of a jiggle, and he gets himself a nice Deeg headshot reward. Finally starting things off here nicely for the CTs. It's a 4-player stack here at this A site, just leaving it to Truck by himself at B. And what is going to happen a little bit differently? Fluffy AIMERS actually mixing it up a little bit now, actually putting a lot more focus on towards middle. Truck. Oh, if he can get a better position here, he might be able to find something, but he's making a lot of noise.
See his intra, a double intra, a triple. Should be the round done and dusted. It's gone. 50-50, that range is not too accurate. And Truck is caught jumping. Not for joy. Sacrifice takes him down. A sacrifice perhaps to get a tie. 9-9. Cooper bringing out the big green yet again. M4 surrounding a solid buy for Mythic, at least going into this one, but they need to make it clean, and they need to win 2 in a row to help reset the CT economy. If they win one, if it's a flash in the pan, Fluffy Aimers are going to continue their tear.
Yeah, Fluffy Aimers are still going to keep these AKs. I mean, they don't have the opportunity for the money for an op, but it has been working out well for them with 5 rifles. I do like it. Good molly going to get thrown here just on sidewalk. Pushing Freak back a little bit. He usually plays on the top, and he tries to go for the quick jiggle, but lots of nades being thrown onto Sandbag. They think somebody's close on by. And now they're actually going to wait for that flash. They're going to double swing this. This could be really nice, but Freak, he does some damage, but Hate, he gets taken out as well. Cooper finally puts that off for 1 only with a haircut, leaving it to the 2-2 now. A smoke with mollies available here for Fluffy Aimers, but the utility is lackluster right now for Mythic. And they don't have a kid either, so that's another terrifying thing. Truck, you need to get this kill, and that's going to be the bomb down too.
Yep, another no sacrifice is lurking around somewhere goofy. Probably middle. Given the fact that Truck lurked through B. Question is, where will he come from? Ladder? Come from their spawn? Where will he go? Truck tucked in. Does this barrel get spotted? I don't. So?
I don't think so.
And he doesn't know. It's a big boon for Truck. This drop's going to be heard. And there we go. Pivots around, swivels around like a turret. This angle is so esoteric. No one sits here, and he whips the spray. Sacrifice. PM. He knows he shouldn't have won that fight. He knows he was gifted something. And that leaves Flom, the old dog, up to his old tricks. Sacrifice clearing out ramp, grabbing bomb. 20 seconds left. He's going to hightail it towards B. What direction is Flom going? He's sitting in an elevator. I think he might have heard the sound cue, though. He's going to rotate around towards B. Might even catch Sacrifice on the crossing here. 10 seconds left. He has to go quick. Sacrifice. He's hoping no one's here. He has a nade in hand. Takes a lot of damage, but he has the information now. He'll throw Molotov. Flom, though, runs straight through it. Plant is not secured, but the round is the issue. However, the fact that Mythic had no money in the bank, they invested it all, and now it all rests with a 1 player surviving. That means their buy is going to be, again, hampered and likely on MP9s.
Yeah, that was such a good play from Flom. Like you said, I think he heard that noise cue just on the edge. It must have been close, but yeah, I heard that, the good positioning and the fact that he just ran through the molly. Yeah, there was no hope for Fluffy Aimers. It's like you either commit to the plant or you risk it for the gunfight, because he didn't even fully know that he was going to push that. But yeah, things are getting neck and neck again. Mythic will take that lead. 3 MP9s once more, trying to force up as much as they can here with everything. How tight this can be. Utility's still pretty good here for Fluffy Aimers. Sacrifice sitting pretty light on this one with just a Molotov in his hand. And now it looks like that bomb does kind of want to make its way towards this B site. Waiting things out, kind of that mid-split, a 3-2 setup. Cooper might get overwhelmed with a surprise, and Cooper overextends his ult and it's only 1 kill. Flom looking for more. He's still going to press forward, but he actually changes his position. This is a good amount of real estate he grabs.
Run information from real estate, yeah. Or versus 3 Truck Lover, though, playing very passive towards B. That's where the take's coming from. Your retake, perhaps. Freakazoid MP9 rings through. Pendulum down. This flank is so good. Isolates Freakazoid. Another on the SMG. He just leers you down below. He made steps to try and cut off this flank, and now he's locked out of the site. He has the bomb, no map control, no support, and if he loses this round, his team's going to be on a save going into what will be a scoreline of 9-11 on the cusp of map point.
Well, Truck's been in a position like this before where he kind of whiffed it. Does he whiff it again? No, he will not. He's going to get a little bit of redemption, but it was the cost of Freak's life to get that kill. And like you said, I mean, now Fluffy Aimers in a position where theoretically, I don't know if they want to force up here, because like we said, they've been in a position like this before. You force up to win out, or you save to push for overtime, and it kind of looks like they're actually going to spend dollars, and they're just going to go for it. So this is a bold move. Let's see if it pans out for him.
It's a lot of gusto. It's not even a full force. Like, one player saving 10, 15 to bank. That's pendulum. Again, not all on the same page. A bit worrying for Fluffy Aimers. We'll have to see if it can pay off, though. 2 Galils and an Mac 10 could sow a bit of chaos if they play their cards right. It through the smoke to try and find something for Cooper. No one's shown, though. Slow around as Fluffy Aimers want Mythic to make the move. We saw Mythic win that last round by virtue of a timely flank on an MP9.
And the other thing is, too, is, I mean, Mythic have burned a lot of utility, but they still have plenty to go forward with. And Cooper, again, a one and done, but he's still going to be able to get out of this. Good flash. Hate with a nice nade. Fluffy Aimers are going to wait things back a little bit again, just kind of toying things out, wanting Mythic to burn as much utility as possible because they only have double smokes now that they can use, and that's going to be used for building that smoke wall so they can get the bomb into the site if that's what they choose to do for this take. And already now we're starting to see, there it is. The smoke wall is going to come on in. Mythic, they can line up the nades. Molotov's ready to go. Hate, he's just been test with this. Ready to go. The lineup's coming in, but actually the bomb, it's going to go on the left-hand side. Oh, the boost up! Oh, that's a big game move!
Unexpected. Spams the smoke as well, connects once more, and that turns the round on its head. What looked irrecoverable now looks like an inevitability. Swing from in-draw of contact is exemplary, and Fluffy Aimers steal the round from a play that takes a lot of gusto to pull off, a lot of confidence, and Fluffy Aimers read it perfectly. What a way to steal a round away from Mythic.
That's the thing, though. Like, again, a detail like that can just separate, you know, average players to better players, and making that split decision for Sacrifice to boost up onto the planter and get that site just over the smoke, that gained them a round where they might not have had it. So what an amazing call from him. Those are making those quick decisions mid-round in the midst of a chaotic situation. And now we're going to have to see what Mythic can do, because they have to save these funds. It's just going to be 5-7 galore. And now Fluffy Aimers, they're kind of running into a little bit of a trap, but they do reply back a little bit. It looks like it might be okay. They are just starting to take down these bodies, but my goodness, I still can't believe that last round.
No, that changes everything. I'll say Truck and Coop both have had a decent match, but not a standout performance by any means. Sacrifice takes down Truck. It's been the same story for both teams. I've really not been paying attention to both sides of the equation, but both teams have been on fire consistently as a team. There's no individual star up top. We have how many players in the server at 19 kills right now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 players at 19 kills. They're all tied for top frag. That's kind of crazy. That should tell you the kind of team battle of attrition that we're seeing currently in this best of one.
That's such a good point too, because again, it's not like we're just seeing like a full carry. Whereas I think on Ancient there was a little bit more, like say Freak was like, you know, putting up some big numbers, but now the love is being spread. I know Freak's been a little bit more quiet in this game, but like you said, I mean, both teams are putting up some decent numbers, so it just kind of shows that the teamwork is really, again, a good collaboration between both these sides, and that's a good thing to see. And we can see it right now, obviously, with the score being tied to 11-11, and now Op's going to be out here for the T side. Nothing for Mythic in terms of just the M4s with a bit of utility. And again, no kits, though. That's very interesting.
Yeah, you want the utility. I can respect the call. How many post plants have we seen? I haven't been keeping track, but I don't think we've seen too many post plant retakes from Mythic that have been successful.
Yeah.
At least not in a dire moment. So I can see the justification now, but yeah, it definitely would have been nice to have. Flom got the information off of that shot from the AK. No ball back. Anybody's map. We split these last 2 rounds. We go to overtime. If one team wins them both, it's done and dusted.
Yeah, it is the best of one, everybody. Again, I know we keep saying it, but we just have to make sure because it is a new format for this. So a lot is riding on this. Money is tight. More tight here for the CT side. Truck now going with a big swing. Somebody needs to pull up, be the hero for one of these teams. Good nade coming in. Truck able to find himself a secondary kill now. Being a thorn in the side, just playing behind the pillar. Maybe a triple? Yeah, why not? Looking for more quad lover. He's almost able to find this ace, but he has single-handedly put this round into his own hands. And there we have it, Mythic. They're able to put themselves a map point from Truck Lover, 86, to come alive.
12-11 secured. Op picked up for Cooper. And 3 surviving means that the economy from Mythic is still in a decent spot. The same cannot be said for Fluffy Aimers. They're scrounging together what they can. They have AKs, they have decent utility. They have a Tech 9 on intro and a Mac 10 or a pistol on Jason. They go for the Deagle. Dire straits for Fluffy Aimers to try and get to overtime. Again, if Mythic take this, they'll win both best of ones this evening. As far as I know, that's the first set of best of ones to be swept in a clean 2-0 fashion. A lot riding on this for Fluffy AIMERS.
So much riding on them too. But at least they have triple AK right now. But again, the utility is not the greatest, right? These double smokes need to be saved. They need to be preserved. Learcy taking some big damage. These nades I don't think are going to do much here from Mythic. Cooper already falls down early in that minute and 20, which is not a great position here for Mythic, especially on the CT side. So that means now they're going to have to change up their positioning a little bit and split this to a 2-2. Truck Lover. Oh man, he's hungry for more. Nades are starting to fly in. Flom comes in. Flom comes in. And that's going to be a
Into
nice
a team
cleanup.
kill.
What?
He knifed his teammate in the back. It was not a double kill from Flom. It was a team kill.
Oh my goodness.
And that could seal the fate of this round. Right-clicking instinctually into your teammate's back might just seal your fate in this one. Sacrifice. Must make a sacrifice to the gods to try and bring this back from the brink. Made that joke at least 5 times tonight. 1 versus 3 to a 1 versus 2. The first secured, but 2 more required. Freak and Hate, both ready, both together to try and rebuke. Good swing, but that peak from the pair is enough to get it done. The same scoreline to be had on both maps. 13-11 on Ancient, followed up by 13-11 on Vertigo. That was a win as well, not for Fluffy AIMERS, but for Mythic.
Yeah, and that's a big comeback too, because I mean, I think you know, even someone like Truck Lover, he was able to finish off this game with 24 kills. In that first half, I mean, I think he was sitting at about 11 and 10. And again, even, you know, we talked about Hate, like he was able to have that first half where he was 14 and 6. He was just under 1400 damage, which was happening in that first half, which is pretty gross when you think about it. But yeah, Mythic, they came up big, man. I mean, it was not easy. We said this was going to be a brawl, and it definitely was. And Fluffy AIMERS, they're still looking pretty good. I think there was just a couple like technical issues they did that cost them the games, but I still cannot believe what Sacrifice did. And he's such an exciting player to see, and he is one of those top prospects on that group, and I'm more than excited to see him further in the season.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And where the storyline of map number 1 was kind of like a shining star for both teams, this second map was anything but. I think we can guess who the MVP is going to be. We're going to go ahead and show it now. I'm guessing Truck Lover from that last 4K that we saw at the Dying Embers. Yep, yeah. There it is. 24 and 20. But the story of this map was very different from the first. Whereas the first was, I think it was Sacrifice versus Freak. The second map was a story of 2 teams battling. Everybody on these teams, barring one player who's kind of lagging a little bit behind on both sides, was a brawl. It was a battle of attrition. 4 of the 5 players at the very minimum were going blow for blow on each side, and that led to a very brawly and chaotic scoreline. It could have gone any way. There were at least a handful of rounds that could have gone either way and totally upended the overall scoreline of this map.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, that's the thing too, is you know, I think you mentioned this before, but I mean, even for Mythic on the Timberman game, like they went to overtime on a map like this, but they haven't seen a victory in a long time. So the fact that they actually got across the finish line, they finally could put a green and a W on the map here for Vertigo. That's a great thing for them to note. And I think they probably took a lot away from that. I don't know if both these teams had time to study each other enough just to kind of see the gimmicks and things like that. But I mean, it just felt like they were kind of going off instinct. And like we said, I feel like Fluffy AIMERS, the one thing I really noticed was their mid-game decisions. I think that's where we saw a couple like discrepancies there where we were like, well, I don't know what you were thinking on that, but it's always tough in those moments, right? I mean, Counter-Strike is all about those milliseconds and decision making. So this is just something they're going to have to learn and develop from. We're in the beginning of the season anyways, so there's still plenty of time to see some action from both these guys, but very impressive for Mythic. And like I said, they're coming up on the upward trend, and they're looking pretty impressive, all things considered.
Both teams showing signs of promise early on in the season, but both teams also showing some worrying signs as well. I'm going to touch on kind of the strong things that we saw for Mythic, the team play, even the individuals. Freakazoid firing on all cylinders in that first map really comes to mind. But there was a lot to kind of polish up, a lot of team kills in that first map that we talked about, that we harped on. 3 kills in the first 5 rounds. I think of the second half, if I'm not mistaken, of Ancient was a bit concerning. Same could be said for Fluffy AIMERS. That mid-round call, that call to come back into it to boost up on Vertigo was crazy. The by far best read, perhaps one of the very few ways that they could get back into that round. That is something that you have to praise, but it feels like they just couldn't get across the line. They still have some more things to figure out. Some nerves, some veterancy needs to be built up on that roster to really get them to where they need to be. But overall, both teams, as you mentioned, very promising heading into this season.
Yeah, and the fact that Mythic can start things off pretty well with having two separate BO1s, but putting themselves in that position now where they're going to be on top of the league for the time being, it is good to see, because I think that even they were looking better and better after the more rounds they were playing, especially on Vertigo, because it was kind of a bit of a sloppy start. They had a good lead at one point, lost it, and kind of came back into this game, and that was a great thing to see, because Freak unfortunately was a bit quiet on the second map, but that's where you said everybody else was coming into play, and Freak was still doing his job too. So it obviously has nothing to do with like the kill death ratio, but it just, he wasn't pulling up the numbers like we saw in the first one. But yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting piece for Fluffy AIMERS, because they're still a team that is very unique to me, and I think they're going to be an interesting prospect in this league, and I'm kind of wondering what they're going to be able to prove.
Yeah, it was a rough night for them in that they lost both of these best of ones, but I'm coming away with the exact same mindset that I did yesterday. I'm still cautiously optimistic about them. I think they can do a lot of growing in this season. They've shown a lot of good groundwork to be built upon. I think that's the biggest thing. A lot of teams can have individuals and kind of just move around to do some goofy stuff and get away with it and have a good success immediately. But Fluffy AIMERS, I feel like they're building something, and building to hopefully something that can culminate on later in the season, because these players, young, yet to really make a name for themselves, I dare say, in some respects, but they look hungry and they look like they're ready to put in the footwork required.
Yeah, they definitely do. Well, that is going to be it for us here on this stream. And we do appreciate everybody tuning in. It was a very exciting 2BO1s that we got here tonight, but we're not Alan, but we are myself, Laz, and Pineapple Phillips. And thank you, production. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. We will see you at another time. Take care.
Bye-bye.